go over some land nav. I'm going to start off, we're going to basically use this as an example because the actual map that you're going to use in OCS isn't really available for the general public, and so we're going to use this, and it's a little bit easier to see. You always start off with your map kit. Inside your map kit, you're going to have a few things, including your map, which we're not going to use, straight edge, and the protractor. First thing I'm going to go over is the protractor. Protractor is going to have a lot of information on it. It can be a little much for some people if you've never used one before. But everyone at OCS, you're going to get one of these, and you can buy extras if you want because they get pretty banged up when they're in your cargo pocket. So right here, this is the grid square that you're going to be using on all the maps that you have at OCS, which are 1 to 2500. And what this is, this will be equal to an entire grid square. And these numbers here goes 1, 2, all the way up to 10, and that is 1,000 meters. So each of these numbers is 100 meters. So each tick mark is 100 meters. Each tick mark within that is 20. So you have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. And that's for when we get into an 8-digit grid. If you just have a 6-digit grid, you're only going to use the 2 numbers from the map and then this 1 digit here. On the inside of the protractor here, this is for measuring distance. And right here, on the top here, you have 1 to 2500 for that scale of a map, and that's what you're going to be using OCS. And it goes from 0 up to 1000 or 1K and over to 2K. And that's the one that you're going to be using to measure stuff. Another important part here is you have your degrees along the outside. Starting at 0 here, and it goes all the way around to 360. And it also has the back azimuth on there as red. So if you're at 45 degrees here, it's actually 225 for your back azimuth, and that's just one easy way to tell. So instead of using this on the big fake map, I made a little practice one, a big one. And the way that the reason why the numbers are going here is because to actually plot and to find an 8-digit grid, you take your protractor and you flip it over and you use the numbers going the other way, all right? And that'll make more sense in just a second, but the numbers are now going backwards, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 down here, and it still goes up. And so this is gonna portray this right here, all right? All right, so this is just a general overview here. Say this is a portion of your map. And the way you read a map, you're always going to go right and then up. So west to east, you have the numbered grid squares are going to be going 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. So that you always read the left, right first, all right? So if you see a grid coordinate that's 96 anything, you know it's starting on this line right here. And then up and down you have 62, 63, 64, 65. So if you have a 96, 62, you go over to the 96, up to the 62, you know you're working in this grid square right here. If you have a 95, 63, you start back over, you go right and up, and you're going to be working in this grid square. Now, you always just use your first 4 digits to find out where you're working. So you would take your protractor, and let's say you have a 9563, you bring it to your map and put it on 9563, and that's where you visualize where you're working, all right? Now, 4-digit grid gives you 1,000 meters square. It's not very good if you're trying to find something. 6-digit grid gives you a 100 meter square. And an 8-digit grid gives you a 10 meter square. So eventually when you're working your Sulis, you're gonna be doing 8-digit grids. And that's what we're gonna do here. So another thing to keep in mind is doing your grid north and your magnetic north. So you're always gonna have to either go from grid to magnetic or magnetic to grid. For the map that you'll be using in OCS, it has a GM angle of 9. And so you're gonna, if you find a direction on your map, you have to add 9 to that to get your magnetic, which is what you're gonna need when you use your compass to find your target. If you don't do that transfer from grid to magnetic, you will fail that portion of the Suli. And you'll also get lost. So remember, you always have to go from grid to magnetic or magnetic to grid, depending on what you're doing. So just as some examples, I put some points here on the map. So let's say your current location is CP1 and you want to know where you are. So just looking at the map in general, you know CP1 is 95, 63. So CP1 is within 95, 63. So you can fill out that portion of your 8-digit grid. So you already know you're 9, 5 something and 6, 3 something. Then you would take your protractor and flip it around, and I'll show you why. You're gonna line up the bottom horizontal line of your square in your protractor and move it over until this vertical line is in line with your target, what you're trying to find. And then you count over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's say we're just perfectly on 5. That would mean that for our first 4 digits, we have 9, 5, 5, 0. So for your first 4 digits is 9, 5, 5, 0. Now going up, you're already perfectly in line here. You're 62, 63, so that's 6, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's say that's, 1 tick mark into the 5. So that's 6, 3, 5, 2. So 6, 3, 5, 2. So bam, you have that 8-digit grid right there. And let's say your objective location is the ammo supply. For there, again, start with the broad strokes. So you're going 96, 64. So you know you're in the 96, 64 square. So you already know that in your mind. You can jot it down, 96, 64. And you can already, once you work it a few times, you'll start knowing like where they are within that grid square. It makes it really easy to just eyeball it, but you're gonna need exacts for your Sulis. So you put this on that line again. You're going over 9, 6, 2, 5. All right, so 9, 6, 2, 5. And you're going up 6, 4, 1, directly on the 1, so it's 1, 0. 6, 4, 1, 0. Now that you have your 2 locations, you have to get the azimuth. So that's when you would use your straight edge, which in the field you're going to use something small like this or a note card. But here, I'll just use a big old ruler. And on your map, you have to do the line through both dots, and it has to go past and before. So you're going way longer than you need to. Just draw a big long line. So, why do you do that? You need to find your azimuth. On your protractor, make sure it's back the right way around. You're gonna put this little center dot right on your target, on your current location, and you're gonna line up your protractor so it's within the lines of the grid, okay? So you can either use like whatever's nearest. Like if this one's really close to here, you can tell that's all even, that's good. And all you have to do, you line that up, that's going through the line, it goes all the way over, and it's crossing through 54 degrees. So you know you have 54 degrees grid. 54 degrees grid. But remember, you have to change that over to magnetic, because you're never going to give your nav person a grid azimuth. It's not going to help them. They're holding a compass. You have to give them magnetic heading. So add 9, so you have 63 magnetic, and just forget about the grid. You don't want to utter that at all during a sully, because that's where you'll lose your points. So now you know you have your current location, your objective location, and your direction of attack is going to be 63 degrees magnetic to the northeast. That's how you would say it. 63 degrees magnetic to the northeast, and you point to where you're going. So just go over another example. Let's say you want to find out what you're at the intersection of Forest Trail and River Road. You need to know your 8-digit grid. So you already know you're in what, the 96, 63 square. And you know you're going to be nearly at the end of the 96, right? You're almost at 97. So you know it's going to be a 96 something big. So line that up. 9698. 9698. And then you just go up 6350. Let's say your objective is to get to the intersection of Tower Road and River Road. So the intersection is right here. So I just drew these little guides so you can kind of understand how the box is separated. But you know this is going to be basically, you can eyeball it. So 9-5, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be like 9-5, 4, 4, and 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. Something like that, right? So then you can double check. So you have 9-5, or 9, 9, 4, 1, 0. Or sorry, 9, 5. 9, 5, 4, 2. So 9, 5, 4, and then the inner here, so it'd be 4, 2, 9, 5. Then going up to River Road, you start at 6, 2, 6, 2, 6, probably like 2. So 6, 2, 6, 2. So now get your pen out again. So you're going to have a map pen, which is a very, very fine permanent marker that you're going to use on your map. And you just draw a little dot where you're going to, and a little dot where you're coming from. Take out your straight edge. And again, you're going to go all the way in front and behind both marks. Now this time, keep in mind which way you're going, all right? So if you're starting in the northeast and going southwest, you're gonna have a much higher azimuth than if you're going to the northeast. So instead of going 45-ish degrees, you're gonna be going something in the 200s. So you put your protractor back on there, make sure it's lined up. So here you can see this grid square is close to this line, and you make sure they're all parallel, and it's going straight through 238. So 238 degrees grid. 238 grid, add 9, 240, 247 magnetic to the generally southwest. So you would say current location is 9698 6350. Objective location is 9542 6262. Direction of attack is 247 degrees magnetic to the southwest. Bam. And that's all that's to it. When it comes to a Suli, what's going to happen is they're just going to give you your grids, and you have to give them your direction of attack and distance. So we didn't really do distance between these ones, but what you would do is you'd use your straight edge and your protractor, and after you've drawn your line, you just put your protractor on that line and count how far it is. It's like the simplest thing. So let's just pretend that every inch is 100 meters on here, okay? So every inch is a little square on here. So what you do is you line up your ruler, and it's exactly 16, so 1,600 meters. Or for this one, it's 9, so 900 meters. So we'll work through an entire one here. So you're gonna get up there in Suli, they're gonna say, your instructor's gonna say, all right, current location is 9725 6230. Your objective location is 9680 6215. Hit it. And then you will have 1 minute to do all of this. All right, so as soon as they say, you know, your current location, you're gonna be writing this down on your map. So you're gonna be on the ground, your map is gonna be on the ground right in front of you, and you're gonna have your pen ready. And when they say your current location is 9725 6230, you're writing it down as they say it. Your objective location is 9680 6215, you're writing it down as they say it. And then as soon as they say go, you're just dropping everything, taking your protractor out and finding it. So you already know 9762, that's where you're starting. So you go over to 97, go over to 62, so you know this is your box. So 9725, you line it up right here. So you see 9712.5, so that's 9725. And 6230, so this is the 62 line. 1, 2, 3, and 0 is right on the dot, so you just put a little dot. That's your current location. Objective location, you know, is going to be in the box to the left because it's 9662. So same second digit. So it's still on this plane, but it's just one box to the left. You know it's going to be right near the edge because it's 9680. So you just line up your protractor at the 8, so 9680, and then 6215. So right in the middle, you put that second little dot. So now on your map, you know where your direction is going to go. So you can do something like this, put some little lines so you know where you're going. And you're going to take your straight edge, or are you gonna, let's see, out here, your 2 dots. Take your straight edge, line up on the 2 dots, line straight through it. All right, now remember your current location was up here. Objective location's here. So if you want, you can draw a little arrow so you don't get it wrong and give them the back azimuth, because then you will definitely fail that portion. So take your protractor out, put it on your current location, make sure you're lined up. So this line is going to work with that line, and that's 250 degrees. So 250 degrees grid plus 9, 259 magnetic. Now you have to get your distance. So on a real map, you would just line this up here and count this. We're going to take the inches, 4.5 inches, so 450 meters. So that would be done within your minute. You tell them direction of attack is 259 meters magnetic. That's 450 yards away, 450 meters away. If you got it right, they'll say good to go, prepare to copy, and they'll give you the rest of your order. If you got it wrong, they'll say nope, and they'll give you the correct information and dock 50 points or however many it is. So you really want to practice that portion a lot. That's pretty much it for the basics of reading and plotting a map. Just make sure you get it in your head, just right and up. So just go over the numbers here. These are actually the same numbers that you'll be working with. So 9, 7 something, you know you're in this section. And 6, 4 something, you know it's going to be up there. If it's a big number like 9, 7, 8 something, it's going to be towards the end. So you should be able to basically check yourself without even using a protractor. You should be able to look at a map and at least point out a 6-digit grid. Like, oh, 6-digit grid, you got 9, 6, 8, 6, 2, 8. I mean, that's like right here. And that should be within 100 yards of your target. You know, and if there's zeros anywhere in the number, so if it's 970 630 or 9700 6300, that's right here, right at the intersection here. So like this point here, River Road, would be 9600 63, 25, probably 6320. And you just practice that, and they'll give you, you'll basically get little worksheets like this that say, give the 8-digit grids of all these different points. Like, what's the 8-digit grid of CP2, of CP1, of the intersection of this road and this trail and this river. And you'll do it over and over and over again. And then you can quiz each other by giving each other the grids. You give each other, 8-digit grids, and then you have to come up with the azimuth and the distance. Because the azimuth and the distance, with the plotting, this little exercise that we did right here, this is what Sully 2, this is like the moneymaker. If you get this wrong, you're screwed. Because it's a school, they'll give you the correct answer. If they didn't, you would just be completely lost. If you were off by 5 degrees and 100 meters, you'd be going over here, and your target's over here, so you'll just completely miss it. So make sure you're really careful about plotting, and don't forget your magnetic and your grid. You gotta add 9 or subtract, depending on where you are in the world. You're gonna add or subtract. All right, if you have any questions, hit me up. Good luck.